All right, now, in finishing off the prelims, we got our first female fight of the evening. And, Jennifer Maia and Jessica Ai, we talked about veterans already, but Jessica Ai is pretty much a women's MMA legend. She's got so many big fights under her belt. Both of these girls have tried to take the belt from Valentina Shevchenko without success. But the thing about Maia that I really like is just the ferociousness. I think that her ability to push forward, her boxing combos, these are all things that I really like. The thing with Ai that really stands out to me, it's like when she has really good success early on, she either fades or finds a way to just carry that into the later parts of the fight. I really found that in the Cynthia Calvillo fight, for example, it's just the takedowns really don't do her any good. I think that that's also where Maia, if you want to focus a game plan here, keys to victory, I mean, use that boxing to set up some body locks and get this fight to the ground. I think Jessica Ai will have significant trouble in those areas with her. I don't think that she's a bad grappler by any means, and especially with getting back to her feet, I think she's fairly good at that. But Maia just has really good success. She basically stole a title shot opportunity from Joanne Calderwood by submitting her. So for me, it's like if you don't see that striking game going very well on the feet, I think that she has a big opportunity to try and take Jessica Ai down. Now, when you go into Jessica Ai's, successful fights, you talk about the Viviane Araujo fight. That was one where, even though Araujo was a little upset with the decision, Jessica Ai did a lot of great things in that fight, despite getting taken down. It was a good fight where you noticed just how much she's able to build her confidence up by trying to utilize her striking. She's actually a pretty good boxer with good movement. And if you watch that first round, everything about her spells elite. Her movement was there, her footwork was there, everything about her hands were crisp. But for me, it's all about timing. I just think that if she opens the door to just getting really rowdy and gets that takedown from Maia, I mean, those are the areas where she's going to find herself working a lot harder. I mean, the Calderwood fight, I think that she just took on a woman who was possessed. I don't think Joanne Calderwood was going to that fight and losing at all. She's coming off a pretty disappointing experience. I'm not even going to call it a loss, just experience in losing that title shot. So I think that this was a big, big, big fight for her just personally. And she showed out big time. And I think she landed almost 200 significant strikes in that fight. And it showed. I think that she just outworked Jessica Ai in all the big areas, especially in the clinch. She has those great elbows and great little punches that she throws separating. And that's where she was able to catch Jessica Ai quite a bit, especially in terms of damage. So that's what I'm kind of thinking with, Jennifer Maia as well. When you think about how much, her stand-up has done well for her, even in a fight against Katlyn Chookagian, it was timing the takedowns that really helped her out in terms of securing those rounds and those points, because Katlyn Chookagian's got pretty much elite footwork and great jabs, like quick punches, things like that. That's what makes it very tough to hit her. And I think Jennifer Maia was finding success, especially late in the fight. And that's what she's got to bring to the table here. I think that she can break Jessica Ai, but at the same time, when you look at the confidence that Jessica Ai can build early in a fight as she starts to land more, that's where I think that you're going to see her build some of her momentum, because I think that if Maia takes a lot of damage, you're going to see her slow down. It's just the way she fights. I love the cardio and gas tank with her. The pace she puts on is significantly higher than the average fighter, especially in the women's divisions. But with Jessica Ai, it's like you got to do the damage to slow her down. And so that's what's going to make this fight very exciting. And I think that's what actually has it as a, early prelim main event, because both these girls are going to push forward and try to land. For me, I just think that if Maia notices that it's not being successful, she should be the first one to try and shoot. I think that she's going to have success from the top game and make Jessica Ai work from the bottom, try to get to her feet, which is something she's fairly good at. So let's take a look at these lines. I am leaning Jennifer Maia in a big way here. I just think that she's doing all the right things. And when you go in and take on a fighter like, Shevchenko, it teaches you certain things. What are the holes that you have in your game in terms of championship caliber qualities, right? I think that in this case, you really do see some holes in terms of we're saying work the ground game, but in that fight, it was like do anything but get to the, get to your back on the ground. And in this case, it's going to be something similar. So let's take a look. Once again, we hit that one pretty easily. Jennifer Maia, 175 opener. Some places are now putting her to minus 200. And then you got Jessica Ai as a plus 150. Closer to now that plus 160, plus 165 range. I think that's a very fair line. I think that Jessica has a lot to prove. when you look at the losses, a lot of great MMA fighters, especially in her recent fights, have been able to have a way with her. And you look at the Viviane Araújo fight, that was one where she was able to utilize so much more of the striking game and then also use her MMA skills to just get back to the feet, tire her out. That's going to be the areas where she's going to have to work a bit harder in this fight against the, previous title challenger in Jennifer Maia.